All right, good evening. An unusual Wednesday stream for me, but I need a break from what I'm doing, and I thought this would be a nice way to spend some time. And I'm really excited to play some Quest for Glory 6. So this is, here we are in the dark. Hopefully, this will come up in a few seconds. This is a game that I love. I love point and click adventure games. They were all the rage when I was growing up. But I have a deeper connection to this one because I have distinct memories of playing it with my father. And holy cow. Okay. Oh. I distinctly remember playing this one with my father. So we had the first computer we had that had Windows on it. It was Windows 3.1. And this had come with it as part of the deal. And I always wanted to play it. And oh, hello, Jake. Welcome. And I really wanted to play it. And we finally got to it, and it was phenomenal because we could both just sit there and play this game. And I know the point and click games have a lot of there's some drawbacks to them. Some of them had fail states where if you didn't do things in the right order, you could not finish the game. Others didn't really challenge people because you could just kind of save scum your way through the game, just constantly trying new things, and then you'd eventually figure it out without having solved the puzzles. Or they were so obscure that no one knew what was going on. But this one for me was a real delight, and I'm certain it's because, one, I think it's the most polished of the series. Of all the King's Quest games, I think this was the best one done. But two, I played it with my dad, and that was awesome. So all right. Hold on. We got to set the stage. We got to figure out what's going on. So I'm definitely going to do the opening cinematic, and we're going to learn all about what Alexander is hoping to get out of this game.
Long ago, in the castle of a kingdom called Daventry.
The voice acting is so good. I'm so excited for this.
Alexander, here you are. Oh, you're still not thinking about Cassima, are you?
I suppose I am.
Son, it's been months. You've got to pull yourself together. After all, you only met her that once.
I know.
Have you discovered anything about the land of the Green Isles?
No. No one's even heard of it. It's like she's just vanished.
I wish I could help. Please try to think about something else, dear.
I'll try, Mother.
So Lovesick Prince. moving cinematic. This was a big step up from the previous issue, from the previous game.
Alexander, I feel so alone. I don't know what to do. Alexander, I wish you were here. Alexander.
Cassima, wait! Mother, come quick!
Fancy.
Alexander, what on earth? You're white as a ghost.
Mother, I saw Cassima. She was in the mirror.
In the mirror? The magic mirror?
Yes, and it showed me how to find her.
How?
The stars! I saw the stars outside her window. I can navigate by the stars.
I can navigate by the stars.
If you really go...
It will be all right, Mother. I promise.
Also, Cassima's theme is beautiful. Like, it's just a beautiful piece of music. Mark Siebert wrote it for the 5th game, and then they expanded on it for this one. But it's just this, like, gorgeous this game came on CD, came out in 1992, 93, and was really kind of pushing the envelope of what the Windows PC could manage in those days. This was pretty cutting edge. Kids today don't know how good you got it. There's Alexander on his boat.
3 long months, Prince Alexander sailed the known seas and beyond.
That scarf animation going. It's gold. I love it. I feel like a little kid. I'm so happy right now.
Land ho! Land ho! Land ho!
Ah, some rough and ready sailors.
As the ship nears the shore, day turns to night and the sea turns violent.
Ah, catastrophe! I came all this way. Oh boy. I love it. So there's several reasons to play this game. One, the music. Mark Siebert's music is so good. Two, the narrator. The voice acting by the narrator is phenomenal, and the dialogue that is written for him is so good. Because this was that era where they had to decide what you could interact with on the screen and how. And if as a player you click on something that they aren't intended to interact with, they still had to have something that said, hey, you can't click on this.
Alexander awakens to find himself on an unfamiliar beach.
And the way they do it,
For a
he's
moment,
just so
he is
sassy.
too dazed to remember how he got here.
Uh-oh. Dazed and confused.
Then he does remember. The shipwreck. The sea. Just as he had seen his men safely into the lifeboats, a gigantic wave picked him up and tossed him overboard into the churning sea. That was the last he'd seen of his crew. Debris from the shipwreck is scattered along the shore, but of the lifeboats and his men, there is thankfully no trace. He can only hope and pray that the lifeboats survived the currents, and that his men made their way safely back to Daventry.
His men are going to make it back to Daventry. It took them 3 months to get here. Okay, sure. Whatever. That's fine. All right, so let's see here. Well, here's our hero.
Alexander searches for a way to reach the black-haired girl whose memory will not escape him.
Ooh.
The remains of Alexander's sailing ship lie dashed upon the distant shore.
Dashed upon the distant shore. It's phenomenal. Something sparkling over here.
Alexander picks up his royal insignia ring from the beach. Alexander has no need to carry around large rocks.
I love it. He's so sassy. Alexander has no need to carry around large rocks.
Hello?
There's no reply to Alexander's call. Alexander has no taste for salt water. Alexander pushes the plank to one side. A box has been partially buried under sand.
Ha-ha! Ooh, something sparkly.
Alexander takes the coin and leaves the ruined box where it is.
This is a very profitable beach. I got money, I got a ring. All right.
A path leads inland to the north. Alexander is standing on a beach littered with debris from his shipwreck. A path leads north into the lush green island. An occasional breeze rustles the nearby foliage.
Well, here we go. All right, a path diverged in a wood.
In the distance, a majestic castle shines in the sun. To the left, a small village seems to invite the weary traveler.
Invite the weary traveler, eh? Well, I am shipwrecked on a distant shore. I should probably make sure I go and see the locals in charge, introduce myself, get some help. Go, Alexander, go! Look at that walking animation.
Two guards take their stance in front of the castle doors. They look quite fierce and have the stiff, blank expression of soldiers on formal duty. The castle doors are firmly shut and bolted.
How would I know that from the outside?
The castle appears to be of Moorish architecture. Its marbled walls and delicate inlaid mosaics are unlike anything Alexander has ever experienced before. His own home, though lovely and dear to his heart, seems rough-hewn compared to this delicate beauty.
Yeah, I've seen Castle Daventry. It's fine.
No strangers may enter the castle of the crown.
Oh, well, a stranger is just a friend you haven't met yet.
Alexander politely addresses the odd-looking guards at the castle doors, hoping to learn more about his predicament.
Good day to you, guards. I was cast upon this island in a storm, and I'm a little confused about my location. Could you tell me what place this is and who lives in this castle?
Hey, what is that you say? A castaway? A likely story. We haven't had any foreigners in this part since Alhazred arrived.
Don't be so rude, Gruff. He's not asking for any secrets.
What voice is that?
You're standing on the Isle of the Crown, lad. And this is the Castle of the Crown. The royal family resides here. Rather, what's left of the royal family.
Dun dun dun.
The Isle of the Crown. But tell me, am I anywhere near the land of the Green Isles?
This is the land of the Green Isles. The Isle of the Crown is the main island, foolish boy.
Foolish boy!
Then Princess Cassima must live in this very castle.
Aye, the princess is indeed our treasured jewel to guard, and we consider it an honor.
Excuse me, guardsmen, guard dogs. I've been traveling for months to see Princess Cassima. I would like an audience, please.
I'm sorry, but the princess is not receiving visitors, particularly not strangers.
But you have to.
I really must see the princess. Could I speak with someone in charge?
Who are you that I should bother Captain Saladin, huh?
My name is Alexander. I am a prince of Daventry and a friend of the princess.
A prince, is it? I see. Yeah, and I am lord of this dusty path. Step aside. You'll not be getting into this castle without some proof of your claim.
I am lord of this dusty path. Without some proof of my claim. Well, I have a royal insignia ring. Will that work?
There's no point in using that on the castle entrance.
No,
even if
click
Alexander
on the
could get close enough to
dogs.
do so. Alexander decides to try his royal insignia ring on the guards. With all of his papers lost in the shipwreck, it is the only possible proof of his identity that he can think of.
Perhaps this ring will convince you of my identity. It is the royal insignia ring of Daventry.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sure. Just let me take a look at that ring.
What is this voice he's doing?
Well, I'm sorry, Your Highness. It's just that princess is so uncommon in these parts. Let me get Captain Saladin.
Yeah, you do that, guard dog.
The guard returns a moment later with a majestic-looking creature. Captain Saladin speaks with a voice that is gentle, but reflects a will of iron.
Prince Alexander of Daventry, I presume. I'm afraid I'm unfamiliar with your country, but I'm sure Wazir Al-Hazred will want to meet you, if indeed you are a friend of the princess. Please follow me.
It's the same voice actor from Fallout.
Lord Al-Hazred, a visitor to see you. Prince Alexander of Daventry.
Da-da-da-da.
What is it that you seek, Prince Alexander?
Pardon the intrusion, my lord, but I came to see Princess Cassima. Some months ago, my father, King Graham, saved my family and I from imprisonment under an evil wizard named Mordack.
Quest for Glory 5.
The same wizard that kidnapped the princess?
Exactly.
King's
When
Quest
my
5,
father
not Quest for
rescued
Glory.
us, he also liberated Cassima and sent her home.
Then your father has my gratitude, and that of the entire kingdom. But I'm afraid I still fail to see the purpose of your visit.
Well, I came to make sure that Cassima arrived safely and to pay my respects. Before we parted, she gave me an invitation to visit.
I have no doubt she did exactly that at the time, Prince Alexander. However, things have greatly changed for Cassima since her ordeal in Mordack's castle. Cassima's parents both became ill and died while she was gone. Cassima is sequestered in mourning for them as befits a princess. She is not receiving visitors of any kind. Even if she were, I do not think your visit would be appropriate. You see, it is time for Cassima to take her responsibilities seriously. With her parents gone, she no longer has the luxury to be a carefree maiden. As was her parents' wish, Cassima and I are to be wed. We shall rule the kingdom together. I assure you, our marriage is all Cassima wants now. As a prince and a gentleman, it would be best that you leave before there is any further embarrassment.
This one's a
I
sly
see.
fox.
I suppose that I was mistaken. I thought for certain that Cassima... Well, I apologize.
A young man sees what he wishes to see. I'm sorry you've wasted your time traveling to the land of the Green Isles. May your journey home be swift.
Perhaps I will take the opportunity to look around your fair land while I'm here.
I would advise against that. The kingdom is rather, shall we say, inhospitable these days. But it is your neck. You may risk it if you please.
Oh my.
Captain Saladin will escort you from the castle. Good day.
I've come all this way. I'm so close.
You have had your hearing with Wazir Al-Hazred. I trust you will respect his wishes and not return. I have been instructed not to let you into the castle again. Good day, my lord.
Captain Saladin whispers something to the guard dogs at the castle gate, and they nod with understanding. Alexander has a feeling they won't be letting him into the castle again.
I'll find a way in. All right, for now, let's go to town, see what we can sort out.
An old beggar is peddling his wares in the village. He offers a variety of lamps, all neatly lined up on a long pole.
Good day, peddler.
Good day, sir. If you would like to get one of my fine new lamps, I'll need an old lamp in trade.
Isn't it a rather bad business? Taking old lamps and giving new lamps in exchange?
Well, there's always a chance that I'll find a genie. If I had a genie, I'd be richer than a king. Besides, there's always a roaring business in antique luminaries.
A roaring business in antique luminaries. I love this game so much.
Good day.
My oh my.
Towering mightily over the other pawn shop curiosities, the stuffed bear makes an ostentatious display. The pawn shop owner is a mysterious fellow. His face is old and inscrutable, and there's a glint of sheer iron in his gaze. Still, Alexander senses this is someone he can trust.
Good day, merchant. What can you tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
I can tell you she is in a dark time. Without the ferry, communication between the islands has ground to a halt, and so nearly has my business. Why the long ages of peace have ended, and why the crown has not done something about it is beyond me. But then, I am a shopkeeper, not a politician, and can only hope for better days.
How bide you, good merchant?
Quite well, though a purchase would not hurt me any.
An elegant little glass dish decorates the countertop. The dish is full of green mints offered for the enjoyment of the customer.
I'm having a mint right now.
Alexander takes a mint. Alexander takes a closer look at the items on the counter.
I see you have noticed my mechanical Nightingale. She is made of plain tin, but she sings the sweetest song you can imagine, barely distinguishable from the real thing. The flute is only made of plain wood, but its notes are fine and true. Ah, yes, the painter's brush. It was well used by one of the island's best painters. There's a lot of creativity in that brush, and its bristles are still in good condition. Have you an interest in Tinder Boxes? This one is only slightly battered. It holds a good supply of flint, a sturdy striking pad, and even a candle in case you find yourself with naught else to hold the flame.
It's only slightly battered.
I'm interested in that mechanical Nightingale on the counter.
What do you desire to give me in trade? The items on the front counter are all of equally slight value, worth only a copper or two. They are handy items nonetheless.
Well, funny. Fate provided me.
Alexander is carrying a copper coin of Devonry. King Graham graces the front of the coin.
I have this copper coin. Is it of any value to you at all?
Most interesting. I have never seen a Daventry coin before, but it is copper genuine enough. I might even find a buyer who is interested in foreign currency. The items on the front counter are the only things in the store that I can let go for the price of 1 copper. You may make your choice from there.
Alexander looks at the items on the counter to make his selection.
That mechanical Nightingale looks intriguing. I believe I'll take it.
Very well. Your coin is well spent. Remember, This is a pawn shop. I am always willing to take back my own goods in trade.
I'll remember. Thank you.
So I got my mint, got a mechanical Nightingale, met the pawn shop owner, and I've learned a little bit about the land of the Green Isles.
Hello. I will be right up. Now, what can I do for you?
Good day, sir. I'm a stranger in this land. What can you tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
That is quite a question, young man. Who are you, and what would you have me tell you?
My name is Alexander. I know I'm on the Isle of the Crown, but I'd like to know whatever you can tell me about this island, and if there are other islands nearby.
You are indeed a stranger. Anxious is the man who knows not the customs of the land beneath his feet. This island is called the Isle of the Crown, because the royal family's castle is here. Besides the castle, we also have this village, and the docks over to the west. There are at least 3 other islands: the Isle of the Sacred Mountain, the Isle of the Beast, and the Isle of Wonder.
At least 3? Does no one know for certain?
At least 3?
This is no ordinary land, Alexander. The land of the Green Isles has always been a place of vague boundaries, as if islands come and go. Legend speaks of a 4th island, an isle shrouded in mists. I myself have never seen it. Then, too, the land of the Green Isles is said to exist on the boundaries of this world and the next. Even darker places are reputed to be closer here than anywhere else in the world.
That's quite a claim.
Claim, yes, but probably just local superstition.
Or is it?
We who live here on the Isle of the Crown, at least, sleep well enough at night.
Those first 3 islands you mentioned, how might I learn more about them?
Ideally, a young man seeking such knowledge would travel to their shores and learn about them firsthand. Meeting the leaders of each place would be helpful, naturally. Unfortunately, the ferry no longer runs between the islands. There has been much political unrest, and it has been too dangerous to travel for years. Perhaps the ferryman can tell you more. He has little enough to do these days. And if you haven't been there already, you might seek an audience at the castle.
Thank you kindly,
Been to
merchant,
the castle.
for
They weren't
all your
impressed with
good
me.
advice.
But advice is free, Alexander. Making use of it costs much more.
The bookshop owner is a thin, middle-aged man. His intelligent eyes are slightly blurry from long nights spent reading by candlelight.
How fare you, merchant?
Business could be better. Too many people are losing interest in reading these days. It is a sign of the times.
Good day, sir.
The mysterious old man just ignores Alexander. An old man occasionally steals sidelong glances at Alexander from under a concealing hood. A collection of children's books fill those shelves. These shelves hold a selection of cookbooks. Assorted travelogues and biographies are arranged on these shelves. These shelves hold a collection of oddly titled guidebooks. Alexander notices such books as How to Become King with Little or No Rupees Down, Finding the Right Girl with the Right Dowry, and Why Good Princesses Like Bad Wizards.
That's just ridiculous. I love it.
Volumes of poetry are on display on this bookshelf. There's a book entitled The Changing Role of Court Entertainers Through the Ages on the small table in the reading area. It appears that some regular customer likes that book. Thinking of Cassima, Alexander decides to leaf through one of the volumes of love poetry. He reads, "Thy hair, thy lips, thy beauteous face, and all thy studied female grace have won for thee anon a place within this broken breast." Not bad. And another. "Upon the shore the lilies bend, untouched by worldly care, where shadow they her earthly bed, oh, that she were not there."
Oh.
Yikes. And another. "What was it when I looked at you? What power has chained me through and through, and binds my heart with links so tight I cannot live without the sight of you? What nameless thing has captured me, and made me powerless to flee? What thing is it without a name that brings my mind e'er back the same to thee? The name of love cannot apply. Its commonness does not decry the haunted, hunted, painful cry that my heart makes for you, that e'er my soul eternal makes for you."
A little close to home, that one.
Alexander returns the love poem book to the shelf. Alexander picks up the fallen page. It's the love poem he particularly liked. It must have fallen out of the poetry book.
I see that old volume has lost another page. You may keep it if you like, sir. I have glued the stubborn thing back in place 2 times already.
I do rather like it. Thank you, merchant.
Like this chair.
Alexander rests his feet for a moment. Alexander picks up and leafs idly through a book called The Changing Role of Court Entertainers Through the Ages. Well, that was refreshing.
That sassy attitude.
How much for that book on the counter, merchant?
It is a fine book, is it not? I obtained it from the estate of the one and only magician this kingdom has ever had. Poofed himself into an aardvark in the end, or so I heard. I never found the spells all that useful myself, but then I lead a boring life. I tell you what, if you can find another rare book, something a bit more marketable, I might be willing to exchange the spelled book for it.
All right, I have a couple quests here so far.
There's a small table near the door that bears a sign. The sign has undergone a number of changes. It once read 10 pence, but that was crossed out and replaced with 5 pence, then 1 pence, then free. The sign currently reads, "Take one, please." Only one book remains on the table. It looks like the bookshop owner really wants to get rid of that book.
Well, twist my arm.
Alexander picks up the book from the small table.
Oh, yes, please, take that book. You have my most humble thanks for doing so, good sir.
Really? Thanks.
All right. This was another profitable stop. I got a torn-out poetry page and a book off the bargain table. Boy, in no time I'll be king of this land at the pace I'm going. He mentioned the docks, and I should talk to the ferryman. That's right, I should talk to the ferryman.
There's a young girl in the yard. The girl is dressed in a long, plain orange robe with a thick headdress. From the appearance of her clothes, and from a skittish, fearful look about her, Alexander gets the strong impression that she is a servant, or even worse, a slave. The serving girl appears to be stealing a quiet moment tending the rose bushes. The girl is too far away to hold a conversation with Alexander.
told you 1,000,000 times. Those flowers are too sweet for the likes of you. You've still got to do the breakfast dishes, make lunch, and clean the stables yet this morning. And get your veil back on. No one wants to look at your face.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, stepmother.
All right. Whoa.
Hey, stranger, come join me. The water is wonderful, and I can show you the way to the next island.
There's a pattern. So far, all the people I've spoken to who seem to matter get a portrait on the screen. This kid has no portrait. Twitch time. All right.
A young boy is happily swimming in the sea off the docks.
Come on, jump in. A little water won't hurt you.
Good day. I'm Alexander. What are you doing in the sea?
What does it look like I'm doing? I'm swimming. I mean, come join me. The water's wonderful. I can show you the way to the next island. Come join me if you're brave enough. What are you waiting for? I said I'd show you how to get to the next island, didn't I?
I think I'd rather take my chances talking to the boatman.
That's strange. The young boy in the water just disappeared. Oh well, perhaps he just dove under the water.
Yeah, what do you want?
Yeah, what do you want?
The boat does not reply.
Oh, I didn't mean to click on that.
Excuse me. My name is Alexander.
The boat
The
does
owner
not
of the
reply.
bookshop in the village told me you might be able to help me. I hear you used to run this ferry for the islands. I'd like to talk to you if you have a moment.
You say old Allie sent you? I can't see why. The ferry's not running, you know.
I understand. I'd just like to talk to you about the islands if you don't mind.
Well, I guess it'd be all right if Allie sent you. Well, don't just stand there. Come on inside.
Don't just stand there. Come on inside.
What is it you wanted to talk about, young man?
Alexander is sitting inside the ferry's cabin. The place displays the neatness of a seaman and the sparseness of a bachelor. There are few frills and comforts in the rough wooden environment, but the sunlight shines cheerily on the oaken beams, and the portholes admit a pleasant breeze.
I'm a visitor to these islands. I'd like to learn what I can about the area.
So you said outside. What is it you want to know?
Well, for one thing, why has the island's only ferry been dry docked?
It just ain't safe to sail these days. What with the islands feuding and all. Wazir Al-Hazred ordered the ferry closed till things settled down. Me, I don't think she'll ever see water again.
But why are the islands feuding?
You got me. Something about stolen property or some such thing. 'Tis a real shame. Things used to be so friendly.
Then this unrest is recent.
A few years is all, but it's been long enough.
Perhaps if the ferry were repaired.
This old thing? This ferry's been out of water so long she's no longer even seaworthy. Her boards have dry rot. She'd fall apart at the first taste of seawater.
But there must be some way to get off this island.
There's only one other way to travel that I know of. A magic map. The owner of the pawn shop can tell you more about that than I can, Alexander.
All right.
Tell me more about the ferry.
I remember when I used to ferry Queen Ilaria and Princess Cassima themselves. There was no thought of danger back then. They used to go visiting to care for the needy and to keep up the friendly relations between the islands. I remember their last trip. Things had started getting nasty by then, and when they came back aboard, I gathered that the Queen and the Princess had been received a bit coldly. Princess Cassima was such a pretty thing, and she was terribly upset. But who could be spreading these lies, she asked the Queen, but the Queen had no answer.
All right, so part of the reason why things have fallen apart is there's petty squabbles going on between the islands, something about stolen property. So we're slowly getting more of the story here. King and queen are dead, the princess is sequestered in mourning, and she's getting ready to be married. Okay, there's a lot happening here.
What do you do now that the ferry no longer operates?
Me? I'm out of a job. The job my ancestors have held for generations. I'm the only one trained to avoid the reef and the rocks. But that knowledge does me no good now.
Is there no other boat on the island? One that might be more seaworthy?
Boats don't last long on these shoals, as you may have found out if you got here by ship. You can be quite sure that this old ferry is, or was, the only craft on the island.
Tell me more about Princess Cassima.
Ah, such a beautiful child, and so pure of heart. Why, a contrary thought has never crossed her mind. Her mother was the same. The king and queen, they served the islands, not the other way around. Always thinking about the people. Ah, they are sorely missed.
There's nothing of interest on that particular part of the table. There's nothing...
I see you have a rabbit.
There we go.
Has it brought you much luck?
As you can see, my luck's been out for some time now, despite that old charm. Why don't you take it with you? Perhaps giving the darn thing away will bring me good fortune at last.
Perhaps it will at that. Thank you.
Let me just help myself to the stuff in your home.
What else can you tell me about the land?
Let's see. The Isle of Wonder's a lovely spot. A bit crazy, mind you. Gotta have a good sense of humor to enjoy a tour there.
What else can you tell me about the land?
The Isle of the Beast is pretty, but unfortunately, you can't get very far onto the island.
What else can you tell me about the land?
The inhabitants of the Isle of the Sacred Mountain are the most gorgeous creatures you'll ever see. If you ever get to see them, that is.
Well, I think I'll be going now. Thanks for allowing me into your home.
Posh, not at all. It breaks the boredom, if you know what I mean.
Alright, so he said to possibly talk to the pawn shop owner about a magic map.
Good day.
The pawn shop owner doesn't look like a man to be tussled with. The curiosities business is just dangerous enough to require one to develop one's boxing skills.
That's utterly ridiculous. I love it.
Good day, sir.
The old man just glares at Alexander and does not reply.
Excuse me, merchant, but the ferryman mentioned that you might have a magic map of the land of the Green Isles.
Why, as a matter of fact, I do. I keep it under the counter. It's been gathering dust so long that I nearly forgot about it.
It
was quite a few years ago, you see. The estate of a wealthy wizard fell into my hands when he died. It was useless magical junk mostly, which reminds me, I've still got some things of his in the back that I need to dump out. Anyway, the magic map was the one true treasure in the lot. The wizard was quite old and feeble and had enchanted the map to aid in traveling. It is said that one need only desire to be on an island depicted on the map to find oneself there. It is a very valuable map, as you can imagine. Unfortunately, no one is interested in traveling these days. It is far too dangerous with the current state of the kingdom.
What would you take for the map?
I would normally want something magic in return, but since I am hardly overrun with prospective buyers, I would be willing to take anything of equal value in exchange.
He probably doesn't want his mint back. I guess we're doing this.
Would you be willing to take my family ring in exchange for the magic map?
Daventry, are you a king then?
No, that's my father, King Graham. I'm just Alexander.
Well, Prince Alex, she is a beautiful ring. Are you sure you can part with such a unique family heirloom?
The ring does mean a lot to me. I didn't always have a family, you know. Still, it is only gold. There are more important things at stake now.
Then you now own a magic map, Prince Alex. I will keep your ring out of sight for a few days. If you find anything else of great value in your travels, you can come back for your ring. I would hate to see it melted down for gold. Ah, and a warning about the map. It will only operate when you are out in the open and within sight of the sea. The limitation has something to do with the teleport spell ingredients. You might try the beach.
Thank you. You are very kind. And I'll remember about the map.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, he's on the move.
Suddenly, the old man in the concealing cloak sneaks past Alexander, and with a sneaky dart of his hand, steals a mint from the candy jar. The old man stuffs the mint into his mouth and wobbles unsteadily out of the pawn shop.
Those must be some powerful mints.
Master! I followed Prince Alexander as you wished. From the pawn shop owner, he just abstained, just reprieved. He just got a magic map.
You fool! You've been eating those mints again! I ordered you to stop that!
Yes, Master.
Now, what is this about a magic map?
With the map, Prince Alexander could travel anywhere as quickly as I can.
I thought I took care of the only means of travel. By my scimitar, I can't have him stirring things up now. Get a hold of yourself and listen carefully, Shamir. Go to the other islands and tell them...
So we get to see this cutscene that implies that the Wazir is behind the island's troubles, but we don't get to know what he tells the guy? Fine. Alright, and this genie thing of his has a glinty eye, so I need to be careful now whenever I see anybody who's got a little glinty eye looking at me.
A nightingale perches on a high branch of the tree. She sings the most beautiful song Alexander has ever heard. Alexander winds the mechanical nightingale and places it on the ground. The mechanical nightingale sings a sweet, tinny tune. The real nightingale in the tree cocks her head and listens intently. The nightingale flies to a lower branch and looks at Alexander curiously, as if she were deciding that this human might not be so bad.
This human isn't so bad.
The nightingale sings her crystalline song in the boughs of the old tree. The nightingale looks at Alexander curiously, as though waiting for something.
Alright, we got our magic map. Let's,
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
We're gonna hear that phrase a lot.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
So the Isle of the Sacred Mountain has these cliffs. They're called the Cliffs of Logic. because this game came with a little booklet that was from someone else who had visited the land of the Green Isles long ago and wrote about it. And what was so cute about this was it was a form of copy protection. Because if you didn't have this little booklet, you couldn't solve the puzzles, and therefore you couldn't progress in the game. And there's just, I don't know, there's something about it that I miss. I get why modern games don't bother with that, but there was something about the physical components that came with a game like this that I just loved. And you had to like read it. It wasn't simply like, oh, what's the word on page 68? Because they also would do that too, as copy protection. But like, what's the answer to this puzzle? What are the winged ones like most cherished beliefs? What's this riddle I've given you? Like, there's a couple places where that copy protection thing would kick
Alexander
in.
picks the flower and is startled by its hideously strong skunk-like odor. For a moment he can smell nothing else. Alexander takes the feather. There appears to be something etched into the face of the cliff. Alexander decides to get closer.
Ignorance kills, wisdom elevates. Only those, what's this, the phrase? It's something only those will be able to rise in knowledge or something like that.
Huge blocks of stone erupt from the granite cliffs. Alexander stares with wonder. That's quite a way to welcome a guest, if indeed it is a welcome.
It's kind of a welcome, but you have other things to be doing at the moment.
Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
All right, let's see. Where am I here? Oh my. Looks like oyster beds?
To the north, the island is dense with vegetation. Alexander picks up the object floating in the water. It appears to be a string of letters. They say, "Where are you going?" Alexander decides to keep the odd sentence, even though it is incomplete. One of the oysters is sitting up in bed and doesn't look very happy. He seems to be the only one who can't sleep. In the oyster's mouth, Alexander can see a glint of white.
A little oyster pearl there.
Why aren't you asleep like the other oysters?
Oh, I'm so weary, but I can't sleep. I have a terrible ache in my mouth.
Could it be the the pearl I just saw?
Why don't you let me see if I can help?
No way! No one's looking in my mouth. I hate dentists.
Well, what if I read you to sleep? Looks kind of like a domino icon. Oh, darn it. That wasn't what...
Alexander opens the bargain book and reads a paragraph at random.
2 dulcimers raised to the degree of 40 half-dulcimers, divided into equal parts by the third of a cackle of grouse geese, put over the result of 10 fine mackles, albeit small fine mackles, stretched over the total of 53 1/8 bottles of wild beast lard.
Oh my god.
Phew, what an incredibly boring book. No wonder the bookshop owner wanted to get rid of it so badly.
Alright. I meant to use the book on the oyster.
If you're having trouble sleeping, perhaps you'd like me to read to you.
Hey, that would be great!
Two dulcimers raised to the degree of 40 half-dulcimers, divided into equal parts by the third of a cackle of grouse geese, put over the result of 10 fine mackles, albeit small fine mackles, stretched over the total of 53 1/8 bottles of wild beast lard.
Alexander makes a grab for the pearl.
Give me that.
Hey! You fixed my mouth! It feels great!
Ah, the little oyster drifts into peaceful slumber with the rest of his oyster friends.
Sleepy guy. Alright, so let's take a look now. With a pearl. A pearl! I bet I can get back my ring.
Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Back where I started, on the beach with the shipwreck.
Alexander sorts through the odds and ends that the pawn shop owner dumped into the pot. Magic exploding gum wrappers, a shattered crystal ball, a cracked wand, a fake thumb. Near the bottom, Alexander finds a little glass bottle labeled ink. It appears to be empty, but Alexander decides to take it anyway. You never know when a small bottle will come in handy.
Good day, Prince Alexander.
I found this large pearl. Might it be valuable enough to ransom back my family ring?
Give me that ring back.
I have never seen such a perfect pearl. Certainly you can have your ring back.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't sell it. I'm a bit attached to it, I'm afraid.
Of course you are. You would be cold-hearted if you felt any differently. I am happy to see a family heirloom back with its rightful owner.
Lovely. All right. Should investigate that ink bottle.
Alexander shakes the bottle and imagines he hears a faint swishing sound, but decides he is mistaken. There's no reason to use... Alexander decides to open the empty ink bottle.
There you go.
It's stuck. It's... Whoa! The ink bottle isn't empty at all. It's full of invisible ink. Not very strong, but not bad.
Ink that makes him invisible. That's fantastic. Invisible ink. So a nightingale, huh? I decide if I want to give the nightingale something or not.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
Magic map. Here we go.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation. Alexander hears someone coming.
"5 fierce guards of the isle we be. Watch for a foreign man," said he, "with ears and nose, tongue, hands, and eyes. Its nature cannot be disguised. If man it be, then man it dies."
Oh, jeez.
"Old Tom Troll, smell your smell. Do that which you do so well."
Oh, okay, so he's got a huge nose. Have a corpse flower.
Alexander holds the flower of stench out to the gnome with the jumbo nose.
"Tom Troll I am, that's all I'll be. My nose knows all on land and sea. A flower of stench has washed ashore. A flower 'tis all, and nothing more. Listen, hark you, Groganor, do your duty as you swore. With your ears, please tell us more."
Well, if it's a flower of stench, it shouldn't be making any noise, but...
Alexander winds the tin nightingale and plays it for the gnome with the monumental ears.
Look at that dance.
A nose is not a way to spy. My ears cannot be told a lie. A nightingale is all there be. No man is near, and so say me.
Taste, Grump, that we might know whether friend or whether foe.
Oh. You know what? Mints are, inoffensive to everybody. Have a mint.
Alexander holds the mint out for the gnome with the gigantic mouth.
Grump knows a tasty treat. It matters not what others bleat. No danger is this one so sweet.
Trilly dilly, use your hands. Is it beast or is it man?
Beast, have you? Here. Have a rabbit's foot.
Alexander holds the rabbit foot out for the gnome with the huge hands.
Be all you mad? What aileth thee? A bunny can't trill merrily. A hare does not at all taste sweet. A rabbit here is all we greet.
Old Bill Batter, never fatter, vision can resolve this matter. Look you now and end this chatter.
Oh boy. Well, guess what?
Alexander pours the contents of the empty-looking ink bottle over himself.
By all that's beauteous, fair, and sightly, 4 morons do I sleep with nightly. There's nothing there at all, I say. Enough of this. Let's now away.
Alexander did it. He's fooled the guards.
Huzzah! All right. And I probably should have saved before I started that in case I screwed it up. All right, let's go inland. Piles of books. Yes.
What do you think you're doing?
I'm sorry. I didn't realize these books had an owner. I'm in need of a rare book.
No owner? All books have owners, my good man. And this book owner, bookworm to you, wouldn't part with one of his books for anything.
Isn't there something I can do for you to pay for the book?
Let's see. Do you have an itinerant clause?
No. No clauses at all, I'm afraid.
As an exception, you always should.
Don't mind oxymoron and diphthong. They're fairly limited grammatical principles, you know. Let's see. A marsh pig that does Texas?
No. I'm afraid not.
A dangling participle?
I'm fresh out.
A purple fiddle whacker?
No, I don't think so. Sorry.
An idiosyncrasy, perhaps?
Afraid not.
Ha! Then what good are you?
Oxymoron and diphthong are fairly limited grammatical principles, you know.
Wow. Hiya, gorgeous. What a luscious-looking hunk of flesh you are.
Oh my.
Thank you, I guess. Who are you?
How charming of you to pretend not to know. I'm Black Widow, of course. The femme fatale of all femme fatales.
Femme fatale?
Know what I mean? You know, I was just thinking it was time I found my 50th, another husband. It would be quite a horror, an honor to have me as a bride. Just look at my beautiful weaving. It's so light, so delicate. You'll never want to leave my little nest.
It is a lovely web, but my heart is elsewhere, I'm afraid.
Oh, drat! The loss is yours. I'm sure you'll change your mind once you consider the advantages.
I love Black Widow.
Have you changed your mind? My offer of wedlock is still open. That scrap of paper blew into my web from those books over there. The wind just thinks it can deposit anything here.
A thread is hanging from the otherwise tightly woven web.
Hey, don't touch that thread!
Alexander snatches the scrap of parchment, curious to see what's written on it.
Love.
The wind blows the scrap of paper from Alexander's hand, but he remembers what it said well enough.
It said love. Apparently everywhere he goes, he's gonna come across love. Alright, let's keep going.
A mushy swamp lies just off the path. It doesn't look like very good swimming. Milkweed thrives near the mucky swamp.
Milkweed.
Small bottles filled with milk grow on it like fruit. A large tree stretches knotted limbs out over the swamp. Part of the tree's trunk is shaped like the face of a dog. Why, it must be a dogwood tree.
Stop it. Ridiculous.
Alexander takes a bottle of milk from the milkweed bush. Apparently, the dogwood tree doesn't like Alexander standing that close.
Oh, gosh. The Isle of Wonders just... There's an awful lot going on this screen.
Unless Alexander is mistaken, those plants must be baby's tears. Vines of sweet ripening tomatoes climb up little wooden posts. Alexander takes a close look at the tomato in the ground. It appears to be darker than those on the vines.
What are you staring at there, boy? Go away, you rootless thing, you! Yeah!
Yep, that tomato is definitely rotten.
That's just so bad.
How did you manage to fall off the vine, Mr. Tomato?
What do you think? I'm old, I'm rotten! Yeah! Leave me alone!
If you say so.
After all, you're just gonna let me sit here and rot on this dry ground like everybody else, aren't you?
Why, I don't know. I suppose...
Ah, never mind! Just go away! Ah!
Rotten Tomato is rather put out with Alexander and won't pay attention to anything he says.
No. I'm not going to be like everyone else. I'm going to take Rotten Tomato with me.
Hey! What do you think you're doing there? Get your hands off me! Hey!
Alexander picks up Rotten Tomato and puts him away. One never knows when one will need a rotten tomato.
It's just ridiculous.
There appears to be a hole in the garden wall. Through the hole in the wall, Alexander sees a land that resembles a giant chessboard. Wow, it really is a hole in the wall. Zounds, those wallflowers sure are shy, and the snapdragons are awfully protective of them. Alexander can't even get close to the wallflowers without causing quite a stir.
Let's go see Chessboard Land. Oh, I thought it was a cutscene for a second. I wasn't doing anything.
Alexander is standing at the edge of a strange land with rolling checkered hills. Two chessboard knights stand before the marble entrance, guarding a path which wanders like a ribbon into the velvety hills.
Excuse me, what land lies beyond?
What land? Chessboard land, you knave!
I see.
You knave.
And is Chessboard Land part of the land of the Green Isles?
It is the home of the red and white queens, rulers of the Isle of Wonder, fairest of the islands that owe loyalty to the king of the land of the Green Isles. But perhaps not for long.
What do you mean?
What is the purpose of unity with the great king and queen dead? The princess is worth serving, but the feud with the other isles is strong.
I must insist, Your Highness. I shall send a lump of coal to the Vizier and the Princess as a present for their wedding, and that's the end of it.
In
And I suppose you'll leave me with only this stupid spoiled egg to send, Your Highness. I want to impress the new king and queen of the realm as much as you do. As queen of this island, I have every right to that lump of coal.
Who isn't queen of this isle? The lump of coal is in my possession. Therefore, I shall do as I please with it. Besides, there's nothing wrong with that spoiled egg.
The egg, though delightfully spoiled, is not nearly so valuable as the lump of coal, and you know it. Your Highness always got to carry the singing stone. It's not fair that you get the coal, too.
That doesn't count. The singing stone was stolen by that horrid beast. I should get to keep the coal just because my stone was stolen.
It wasn't your stone. It belonged to the Isle of Wonder treasury. Your Highness always thinks that everything is hers.
There's a lot of
Excuse me, my good
here.
man, but could you settle an argument for us?
Which of us should get to carry the coal and which the egg? Remember, white is the color of deserving truth and virtue.
Quiet, Your Highness, and let him make up his own mind. I, for one, shall be more proper, and not even mention the fact that red is the color of love.
I'm sorry, Your Majesties. I'm partial to both red and white, but I'm afraid that I don't know how to solve your problem. One of you will just have to be gracious and allow the other the lump of coal.
What a ridiculously stupid idea.
Quite ludicrous.
He was a lot of help, wasn't he?
Oh, yes. Obviously a man of high intelligence. The lump of coal goes much better with my gown anyway. Black and red are imperial colors.
That's the silliest thing I ever heard. Red does not go with anything, being much too self-conscious. White is the perfect accompaniment to any color.
I love how the rulers of the island just like come to the border to have this massive info dump and like happen to spill the beans on things that they would all know, but that is only useful because I don't know any of these things. Like, we know why the feud is going on now, at least between this island and the Isle of the Beast. Apparently the Beast stole something from the chess pieces that rule the island. But, like, they just bring that up unprompted. I didn't have to do anything. It was literally a non-interactable sequence. And they're fighting over who gets to send the very
Alexander
impressive
picks up the Red Queen's scarf.
lump of coal. All right. Well, the queens might think I'm an idiot, but I got their scarf.
The scarf is made of red silk. The old rotten tomato gives Alexander a mean look and grumbles sourly.
Hands off, you! What do you want from me? A recitation or something? Leave me alone! Yeah!
He's such a rotten tomato. I love it so much. Oh, I didn't look at these.
Is that lettuce growing in the garden? It looks a little chilled. Why, it must be iceberg lettuce.
Oh my god.
Alexander picks a head of iceberg lettuce.
Ye gads! Is that cold?
Iceberg lettuce. This entire island is like a walking dad joke. Like, this whole place. It's just ridiculous. Alright. Let's go to the Isle of the Beast.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
This game is ridiculous.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation. Alexander is standing at the edge of the sea on a heavily forested island. As far as the eyes can see, tall trees spread out their branches as though straining to link arms, their tops forming a canopy above. A path leads north through the forest. There's an odd little creature dangling from that tree branch. A little fawn is feeding on a grassy hillock near the sea.
Hello, friend. Aren't you an odd-looking little fellow?
I'm not odd-looking, you are.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you could speak.
Speak not. Funny is, speech I am and nothing but.
You speak strangely, friend.
Strange, my speech is not. Eloquence I speak with.
But who are you? And why are you here?
Away I fly my home from. Lost I am, therefore. As my name, too, can you guess not? It's what I do this branch with, and the way I speak of.
A dangling participle. Here, have a sentence.
Alexander holds the sentence out to the creature.
This sentence seems in need of an ending. Perhaps you could finish it?
Where are you going? Where are you going? Know what I do? Where are you going to? Like you I do. Go I with you.
There you go. Come aboard.
Well, that was certainly interesting. It looks like Alexander now has a passenger.
So I now have this weird Stegosaurus and the Rotten Tomato. Like, I'll just put anything in my pockets, apparently.
One end of the creature resembles a miniature dragon, while the other looks like a possum. What a strange-looking fellow.
Take me home to. Tickle me not.
A rabbit hops about rather fearlessly. It's probably never even seen a human. A pond lies across the path. The water boils as if over some magical flame.
Well, I've got some iceberg lettuce.
Hoping to cool down the boiling pond, Alexander throws in a head of iceberg lettuce. The pond's water slowly stops boiling, cooled by the ice.
It's so
It
bad.
still looks hot, but bearable. An old abandoned hunter's lamp is hanging on one of the trees. Alexander wonders who might have hunted in these dense woods.
Gosh, there we go.
Alexander decides to brave the steaming pond.
Ouch! Ow! Ooh, 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 ouch!
The pond is no longer boiling, but it's hardly bathwater.
It's hardly bathwater. I love it.
Alexander takes the old hunter's lamp from the tree. As Alexander continues down the path, he gets the strange feeling that he's being watched.
Come on over here and see what I'm doing with these flowers. Never mind that stone fella on top of the gate. He won't hurt you any. He's just there to scare you.
Oh, twinkly eyes. And the archer moves when I move. Maybe I don't go through there, huh?
Alexander picks up the brick.
I'll take a brick, though. That's fine with me. But I think I learned my lesson about dealing with sparkly-eyed people. So I guess there's not a way through here right now.
You aren't going to listen to me, are you? Well, we'll just see about that.
That's odd. The gardener just disappeared.
I just love the narrator. That's odd.
Alexander, not being an expert on poisonous mushrooms, decides not to take a chance on tasting the local variety. Alexander has no need to carry around large rocks. The rocks are silent, as they have been for ages untold.
The narrator is reason enough to play this game. All right, well, I should take him back to the Isle of Wonder. I mean, where else would he
Alexander
belong?
pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Excuse me, bookworm.
Do you have anything interesting yet?
A regular abnormality?
Let me see what I have.
Tell you what, here I got.
I found this little fellow lost on another island.
Coming home I am too.
There you are, you naughty boy. I told you not to leave the island.
Glad I am seeing you too.
A most solemn celebration.
So, you found my dangling participle. I
Sure
suppose I'll have to give you something. Let's see now. Was it a rare book you wanted?
Yes, sir.
Well, then none of these will do. They've been sitting in the sun far too long and must be well cooked by now.
A rare book. Oh my god.
This one is far more rare. A delicious little tidbit.
Thanks.
It's got a big R on it for rare, I guess.
Alexander opens the rare book and looks inside. The book contains riddles and has a page missing. Alexander glances at a few of the conundrums, but finds himself more curious about the one that is missing. What was the riddle, he wonders? More importantly, what was the answer?
The answer's love, because I recognize that border pattern. It's the same one from the scrap of paper. Da-da-da-da. Whatever the riddle is, the answer is love. Love is always the answer, kids. Remember that. Alright, now that I have a rare book, I can trade it for the magic book back at the shop.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
Magic map.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Hello. I will be right up. Now, what can I do for you?
Love the music.
I found this rare book, and I thought of your offer.
Very interesting. Oh, it is a wonderful riddle book. Riddles are much more marketable than spells these days. I guess people believe more in mirth than in magic. Here is the spell book you wanted, and a fair trade it is, I must say. Enjoy it.
I certainly hope so. We shall see how rusty my spell-casting truly is.
Magic paint spell. 1 cup swamp ooze, river Styx water, and a black horse feather. Okay. Few drops salt water, not from the sea. 1 vial sacred water, and falling water. Speak incantation and then heat to boiling to activate. Oof. Charming a creature of the night. A skull full of hot oak embers, a bit of sulfur, and a strand of a pure-hearted maiden's hair.
This is the last page.
These are such super specific spells. I can't have, just something like Flame Bolt. These are such incredibly specific spells. Alright, what's this dude?
An odd-looking man is reading in the stuffed chair. He wears a vest, balloon-style pants, and pointed shoes. There's something deliberately silly about the man, as though he were a performer of some sort.
Good day, sir. Is there anything you can tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
I'm sorry, but I have no time for idle conversation. I'm too worried about the princess.
Excuse me again, sir. You mentioned the princess.
I told you I'm not interested in talking to strangers.
It's worked before.
Determined to learn more about the strange man's relationship with the princess, Alexander shows the man his insignia ring and formally introduces himself.
I'm sorry to insist, but my name is Alexander of Daventry, and...
I appreciate the offer of the ring, Alexander, but I'm afraid I'm already spoken. Daventry? Where have I heard of Daventry? Flying flit mice. You must be Prince Alexander. Cassima told me about you when she arrived home. How came you here?
Why, by a ship now wrecked upon the sand. But you know Cassima? She truly spoke of me?
Yes, I saw her briefly when she first returned home. She mentioned a prince to me, Prince Alexander of Daventry. I'm afraid that was before she was told about her parents' deaths. You see, she arrived home a few weeks too late. The king and queen thought they'd never see her again. It is said they died of heartbreak. I'm afraid she's blamed herself.
What a terrible homecoming. If we had only known.
Terrible indeed, poor thing. Everyone in the kingdom seems to despair with her these days. The streets are silent.
Where is she now?
The princess is sequestered in mourning. It's a rather dated tradition, and not required, but the Wazir says she insisted out of respect.
I see. You've yet to say who you are, and how you know the princess.
I? Oh, pardon me. My name is Jalo. I am clown to the royal court, and have been since the marriage of Cassima's parents, King Calipham and Queen Alaria. Oh, those were the happy days. The pair of them were so full of joy and life, so in love. And Cassima's birth. It would be hard to explain how long they had waited, how they had hoped for a child. I mean, she was such a charming little thing, smart as a whip, kind and sweet. Oh, she means everything to this kingdom, Alexander, and to me. I'm so terribly worried about her.
About her grief over her parents, you mean?
Well, the truth is, I do not trust the Wazir or his plans for Cassima. I'm still living at the Castle of the Crown as court clown, his clown. But it is more to keep my ear to the ground than out of loyalty. I wish I knew what the princess thinks these days. If only I could find Sing Sing, Cassima's pet nightingale. I might be able to send the princess a message.
I have seen a nightingale.
I must wait for the end of her seclusion.
What can you tell me about the Wazir?
The Wazir? Now there's a dangerous subject. His name is Abdul Al-Hazred. He came to the kingdom 15 years ago. The king was fascinated by his knowledge and his fine-sounding ideas. It didn't take long for Al-Hazred to convince the king to trust him with the minor problems of daily government. You see, Caliphim had a wife and a new daughter he wanted to spend time with.
Alhazred became Wazir.
And now?
Well, he's had his eye on Cassima ever since she was a young girl. And she is the only thing between him and the throne.
Do you think he means to harm her?
Oh, I honestly don't know. I think he'd rather keep her as wife. But whatever his plans for the princess, he will use her to his best advantage. That's his way.
Perhaps he has charmed her. Perhaps she cares for him now.
The Wazir is capable of anything. And Cassima must be vulnerable and lonely right now. Still, she has always instinctively distrusted him. Cassima has a good head on her shoulders. I'd be surprised if she's truly fallen for his words of love. Now I must return to the castle. Look, I don't want to arouse
That was
suspicion.
another big info
I'll
dump.
try to meet you here again later.
Thank you for the information, Jallo. Be very careful.
Boy, it's a good thing the Wazir is so hated and mistrusted, because all I have to do is, like, introduce myself, and allies are falling over themselves to stack up with me. We'll help you! We'll help you get to the princess. I'm hardly happy to do anything. I feel like if this is the real life, I would have been carted off by the Wazir's secret police by now. But if she talked about me, that's probably a good sign. Ah, Ivysaur, hello!
Your candy dish is empty.
I am sorry, sir, but I have no
I love
more
that
mint.
about that
Somebody
scene.
has eaten them all.
Well, get some more then.
I fear that is impossible. Without the fairy, I can no longer get imports from the other islands, and we do not grow mint extract on the Isle of the Crown.
Oh, I hate not getting what I want.
So they're all out of mints, huh? That's a bummer. Yeah, I love that one. You're like a little mouse or a spider or something hiding out in the bookshelf, like eavesdropping on the scene. It's just, I love these. It's the other reason why I'm such a big fan of the like 90s point and click games, is I love the hand painted scenes. And yeah, sometimes it makes these weird moments where like the obviously interactable things are pixels that you can click on, and everything else is a matte painting that doesn't move. But there's so much artwork put into it, and they're so beautiful that I don't really mind when the like obviously clickable thing is clickable, because sometimes the hand-drawn stuff is just really beautiful. Not that modern games aren't, but it's just a different aesthetic. All right, I feel like I've gotten the best use out of the Nightingale I can.
Would you mind if I traded this in?
Of course, Prince Alex. Please choose something in exchange for the items on the counter.
Alexander looks closely at the items on the counter to make his selection.
I'll take the flute.
The flute? Very good, Prince Alex. May its music always be sweet. Feel free to trade it back at any time.
Pretty well. I played it with my father when I was growing up, and I loved it. It's just full of nostalgia for me, and I'd say probably, I don't know, every like 3 or 4 years I replay it again. Just keep it in my mind, and because it just, it's full of good memories for me. And it's one of those things that like I hope I have that with my son someday, when he's old enough to have these sort of interactable things and play games. I hope he has something that he enjoys doing with me the way I really loved doing this with my dad. So, but I haven't played it in a while, and I was like, you know what? It's time. Time for some King's Questing. Oh, that's new.
Alexander doesn't remember that sign being on the wall before. He decides to take a closer look.
Yes, take a closer look.
It's a proclamation. It reads, "Citizens rejoice, announcing the royal wedding and coronation of Wazir Abdul Alhazred and Princess Cassima. For reasons of security, the wedding will not be open to the public.
No.
Long live the new king and queen of the land of the Green Isles." Alexander feels his stomach turn at the thought of the dread event.
Uh-oh.
If he doesn't do something soon, Cassima will be another man's wife.
more than that, she's likely being forced to marry against her will. But sure. Focus on the another man's wife part. Okay, there's the bird. Jalo mentioned the Nightingale. And this is the only Nightingale I've come across, and that's how video games work, so I am going to definitely trust that this is the correct bird and give it my ring.
Alexander holds out his insignia ring to the Nightingale, hoping she perhaps is the Nightingale that Jalo spoke of, and that she might be able to take the ring to Cassima. The ring is the one thing he has that might alert Cassima to his presence on the Isles. The Nightingale swoops down and grabs the ring.
Genie Snake, I got nothing to say to you.
She flies off towards the castle, perhaps to Cassima.
Here's the music. It's so good.
Sing, sing. What have you got in your mouth, my pretty? A gold ring? Sing, sing. Where did you get this? Realm of Daventry. But this is Alexander's ring. Oh, my soul. He must be here. Sing, sing. I wish you could tell me what you've seen. Is he really here, then? On this very island? Oh, if only I could leave this castle as easily as you. Take this ribbon, Sing Sing. If you know where he is, return it to him. Please be careful, Alexander. It is so dangerous, and yet I could not wish you away.
Cassima's theme music is so beautiful. And yeah, I agree with you, Ivysaur. I love this, like, talking about the beauty of, like, the hand-painted scenes. This one's gorgeous.
The little bird makes a delivery.
Oh, well, I will take this.
It's a red velvet hair ribbon. Could it be? Could it possibly belong to Cassima herself?
Or am I merely wishing it were so?
Thanks to the power of cutscenes, I know it comes from Cassina. Poor Alexander, though.
Alexander examines the red ribbon and finds a strand of long black hair. The strand of hair from the red ribbon is the color of midnight. Alexander can only hope that it belongs to his true love.
Who I met one time while we were abducted by an evil wizard.
Alexander is carrying a book from the bookshop. The cover says, Ye Old Spell Book.
Ye Old Spell Book. I know one of the spells requires someone's hair. Swamp ooze. A strand of a pure-hearted maiden's hair, which I think I just acquired. All right. You know what? If you really are Cassima's bird, take her the love poem that I borrowed from the bookstore.
Alexander holds out the love
Rotten
poem,
Tomato!
hoping that the bird will deliver it to the same place she took the ring, in the chance that the receiver might truly be Cassima.
That's fantastic. Rotten Tomato is like my favorite.
The Nightingale swoops down, grabs the love poem, and takes it towards the castle.
Sing, sing, my sweet. You bring another present. Let me see. It is a poem, Sing, sing.
What was it when I looked at you? What power has chained me through and through, and binds my heart with links so tight, I cannot live without the sight of you.
Oh, Alexander. I was hoping he'd return to you. Take this to him while he waits. Hurry, my fleet one.
The little bird makes a delivery. It's a note.
Dearest Alexander, I cannot believe you are here, my friend. Please, please be careful. Abdul isn't about to let anyone interfere with his plans. Watch out for Abdul's genie, Alexander, and do not do anything rash. I am not without resources, and I will prevail if I can only find some small means of defense. Do nothing to try to get to me. You must not be endangered again for my sake. Greatly in your family's debt, Cassima.
Alexander's hand trembles as he reads the note. For the first time in his long search, he has heard her voice again, if only in writing. No words of love, only friendly concern. Friend. Is the maiden merely shy, or does she regard him only as a brother?
Prince Alexander, he's worried he's going to get friend-zoned. Speaking of, I haven't checked on Rotten Tomato in a while. How's he doing?
Hands off, you! I got a lawyer, you know. Yeah, there's kidnapping laws in this here kingdom.
I'll never get tired of that interaction. Yes, kidnapping laws in this here kingdom.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
Put me down before I juice all over you. Oh, it's just utterly...
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Oh, Rotten Tomato. Alright, let's see here. It's the Isle of Wonder. There's always wonderful things to be held. There's swamp something. Ooze. I need a cup of that. Baby's tears and salt water not from the sea. Oh, let's get this right. Styx water to swamp ooze, no. Alright. Mix salt and sacred waters in a teapot, and then add falling water. Well, a few drops salt water not from the sea. Like tears? Like baby's tears? And I've got a teapot. I've got the hunter's lamp. Ooh, I should rub it first.
Alexander rubs the lamp, but nothing happens.
No genie.
Hello. Aren't you a bunch of fine-looking young plants?
Goo-goo gaga!
Apparently, the baby's tears haven't learned to talk yet.
Adorable. You know what babies like? Babies like a bottle of milk.
Alexander gives one of the baby's tears a bottle of milk. The other baby's tears seem to resent Alexander's gift for some reason.
Well, I'm not proud of it, but as a royal prince of Daventry, I've made a bunch of cabbages cry, but I need that salt water.
Alexander collects some of the baby's tears in the old hunter's lamp.
I feel like... I wonder if my mic is picking up the clock tower outside. It's 9 o'clock, and it's definitely chiming. Alright, give me back that bottle.
What a grip. The baby is not at all willing to let go of that milk bottle.
Okay, alright, I gotta leave this scene. Come back. I can't listen to that. It's bad enough that I already have a child that cries. Yep, shut it down. No more baby tears. Oof.
Alexander takes the teacup.
Wait, what was the other spell? The teacup full of swamp ooze. 1 cup swamp ooze. Add Styx water to swamp ooze in cup. Okay. Well, I'm here near the swamp. Mountain Stars. Have I played this before? I have. It's been a couple years since the last time, but I try and play this every couple of years because I just so enjoy it, and I have good memories of playing it with my father. All right. A hole in the wall could be very useful. So let's go ahead and get ourselves that
Alexander decides to pick up the hole in the wall. A hole in the wall could be a very useful thing.
Could be a very useful thing. Oh, I'm a monster.
Alexander startled the poor thing. It's run off to hide behind the wallflowers.
And as far as I remember, getting near the wallflowers shuts them down. Yep, it's a fun game. Haven't played it in a while.
The wallflowers,
yeah, it's been a couple
overcome with
years for me.
shyness at Alexander's approach, cluster together and cover the hole in the wall. Alexander can't get it.
This one's probably my favorite out of them. The early ones were just... They're products of their time, but, you know, they're riddled with fail states. The puzzles are nonsensical at times. Like, they're hard. There's a lot of random chance involved with some of the, like random creatures that would just wander onto the screen and attack you. The fifth one was better, but this one was like perfection. Like I absolutely loved it. Hated the previous ones where you could make one wrong move. Right, like fail states. You'd make one mistake and you wouldn't figure out till hours later that the game was now unwinnable and you'd have to start completely over. It was always something I didn't like about that. No, this one did a pretty good job of avoiding those. There were still ways to win, but it wasn't necessarily the good ending. Like that was, you know. Yep, exactly. Or like my favorite was the fifth game. If you don't throw the boot at like the cat in that one scene in front of the inn, it's literally a fail state because you can't progress past that point, right? So even inaction in that one moment, and now you'll never win because the second you go into the inn, they tie you up in the basement and that's where you stay till you die. Like, it's just so frustrating. No, this one did a lot better job of avoiding that. Now, this solution is so bizarre to me, but we're going to dance with the wallflowers.
May I have this dance?
Oh, my!
But the snapdragons keep rhythm for me. Okay, you like the Space Quest games for that reason. I won't...
Alexander stops playing the flute, but the wallflowers and snapdragons continue to dance, caught up in the music and oblivious to everything around them.
Everything's dancing. Now is my moment. Grab the hole in the wall.
While the wallflowers dance, Alexander snatches the hole in the wall.
Poor hole in the wall. Like, all I wanted to do was hang out, and here comes this weirdo grabbing at it. Yeah, I know the Space Quest games are beloved and classics. I somehow never ended up playing them. And what's worse is I'm pretty sure I have them all. Like, I think I snagged them a couple years back. And I've never played through them, and I really should. And it would be great, because I've never watched them play, and I don't know almost anything about them. So it'd be a fun experience to have that for the first time. Plenty of cheesiness in the Space Quest games, but the humor wins you over. Yeah, and I don't mind if a game is a little, if it's goofy like that. That's why I love the Quest for Glory series. Like, it's just full of puns. Like, the whole game is nothing but a bunch of puns. But I don't know, it's got like a wholesome feel to it, and it's heartwarming, and, you know, the nostalgia gets you. All right, I need the swamp ooze. Give me this swamp ooze.
What do you think you're doing?
You startled me. I was just getting some swamp ooze.
Well, you certainly won't get it there! That's not swamp ooze! That's swamp muck!
He's right, you know. But he could be a little nicer about telling you. He's not a very pleasant stick in the mud.
Nobody asked you! Be quiet!
Oh, the trials of being a mere bump on a log.
I would have just loved to have been in the recording booth when the voice actor who's supposed to be the character Stick in the Mud is like, okay, how over the top do you want me to be? And they're like, yes. Like, really just go for it. Just be as insane as possible. Space Quest 1 through 3, very, very, very dated. Space Quest 4 and on are similar to this type of graphics, UI, and playability. And actually, I won't lie. If you like the King's Quest series, but some of the jankiness of the original ones bothers you, AGD Interactive remade the first 3 games in like this art style with a point-and-click interface, and they tidied them up a little bit. And they added some other elements to make them their own, but they're pretty good, and they're free to download off their website, which is really nice. They had a limited license from Sierra, so I don't know if you're already familiar with those or not. But yeah, you should look for like King's Quest Remastered, because that's the only way I've been able to ever finish games 1, 2, and 3, is because they remade them, and they were actually playable, and you could like figure out what you were doing. Yeah, I came across them because they were the people who made the Quest for Glory 2 remake, which took it from the old EGA graphics to the more updated VGA and gave it a point and click, which I streamed like when I first started. That was like one of the earliest things I was doing, was playing the Quest for Glory games for my nieces, because they really like those. And I realized that they had done these King's Quest ones too, and it was the only time I had really come across them. So it was nice to be able to play them and not just get like instant fail spot because I missed one moment or I gave away something I wasn't supposed to. Let's see here. Stick in the mud and bump on a log.
Perhaps you could toss me some swamp ooze, since you seem to be able to recognize it. I can only reach this bit by the path.
Well, hoity-toity, look who's Mr. Wants So Much. You think I got a job here passing around precious swamp matter? You should be so lucky!
He's an utter waste of oxygen. I'd save my breath if I were you.
Who are you?
I'm Bump on a Log, and that's my brother, Stick in the Mud. We've had this thing about each other ever since our childhood. Mom always liked me best.
She did not! That is absolutely not true!
He's a bit lazy, you see. He's got the only swamp ooze in the swamp right next to him. But do you think he'd move a finger to help you get some? Hardly. He'd try to brain you with it more than likely. His temper's about the only thing that ever gets a workout, and that on yours truly.
Oh, like you've moved at all in the last century! Like you're Mr. Physical Activity!
Just because I can't reach anything, he thinks he can throw gushy swamp matter at me and just say whatever he likes. If only I could turn the tables on that heckler, he might learn some respect. But as you can see, I am a mere bump on a log and must be content with my lot.
Oh, shut up! You couldn't hit the broadside of a barn even if you had something to throw! Just shut up!
You see how he is?
I love how the game is like very clearly goading you into giving him something to throw at this guy, right? Like they couldn't have dropped any more hints if they tried. All right, well, what is it that you're supposed to throw at people you don't like? Rotten fruit. So, sorry, rotten tomato, but I think this is how it's got to be.
I thought this might come in handy the next time your brother starts picking on you.
Aha! Finally, old Bump on the Log's not so defenseless, is he?
Hey! What are you doing there? Watch the pulp, would you?
Now, Bumpy, remember all I've given you! The only thing you've ever given me is mud.
Take this!
No! Not into the swamp!
Poor Rotten Tomato.
Hey, okay, I give up. Jeez, sorry.
Well, I guess it's not very pleasant having things thrown at you. I'm sorry.
You mean it? Really? Brother?
Brother!
Stick in the mud and Bump on a Log, exhausted from the battle, immediately doze off into naps. Rotten Tomato, being equally lazy, decides to join them.
Rotten Tomato. And I guess everyone's story is just wrapped up in a bow.
How are you finding your new surroundings, Mr. Tomato?
Can't you see I'm snoozing? All right, you done good. Now, go play in the street or something. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's so ridiculous. All right, give me some of that swamp ooze.
Alexander fills the teacup with the swamp ooze.
I need it for the world's most specific spell ever. Alright, So, then, I made contact with the princess. I got rid of my tomato hitchhiker. I acquired a hole in the wall. I think I'm probably ready to go back to the Isle of the Crown, collect that tinder box, and then go to the Isle of the Sacred Mountain. It's the one place I haven't really explored yet, and that's because it's full of copyright protections.
Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Yep.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
To the Isle of the Crown. I even talked it out loud. I said what I was going to do, and then I did the wrong thing.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Strange pulling sensation. Off we go. Although this game has a couple fail states, I'm pretty sure, and I think most of them actually involve the Isle of the Sacred Mountain, although they give you opportunities to not get into them, but they can happen.
Good day, Prince Alexander.
Which reminds me, I haven't saved in a while. It's not like autosaves are really a thing.
Would you mind if I traded this in?
Of course, Prince Alex. Please choose something in exchange for the items on the counter.
Alexander looks closely at the items on the counter to make his selection.
I believe I'll take the tinder box.
Very good, Prince Alex. Enjoy your tinder box and bring it back anytime.
Thank you.
The tinder box is only slightly battered, according to the description. Come on. Back to the beach. Okay, I got the tinder box. Got my map.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
Magic map.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Up the rocks we go. And now I got to pull back up the PDF I opened on my phone so that I can actually get the solutions to the Ancient Ones puzzles. Old style copyright.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
A master of languages will, according to the Ancient Ones, a master of languages will soar. So I need to spell soar using their pictogram alphabet. So, okay, here we go. S is kind of a weird bird-looking thing. Not that one. This thing. S. O is the face. A is the football field. There we go. And R is the weird bird, the actual weird bird.
The stone beneath Alexander's feet trembles as more steps emerge from the granite cliffs.
I'd rather not die, so let's just get a save going. I hate heights in real life, so this whole sequence just makes my skin crawl. See. I shouldn't be trying to read the PDF and do this. It's like texting while driving. I'm just going to end up getting myself hurt. All right, the Stones of Stealth.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
4 men standing in a row. Third from the left and down you go. So that one. The rest in order move you on. The youngest, the oldest, and second son. The oldest, second son.
Nothing happens.
The rest in order move you on. The youngest, the oldest, and second son. Oh, maybe I'm...
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
Go wrap around the other way. Youngest.
The stone beneath Alexander's feet trembles as more steps emerge from the granite cliffs.
Did it backwards. I think every now and then the screen shakes as it like vibrates the stuff. Alright, da 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 da. Bum bum. Oh, God, more. Okay.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
The Sacred Four. So this is part of the Ancient Ones' belief systems. Every emotion, like every creature, color, and element, ranked high or low on their theological scale, the lowest being base or primitive and the highest being pure. At the top of this scale were the Sacred Four. The emotion, tranquility, the color, azure, the creature, caterpillar, and the element, air. Okay. Tranquility, so let's find here. Tranquility is represented by the castle. The color, azure. Azure is the face. The creature caterpillar is the thing that looks like a caterpillar. And then lastly, the element air. Pearls, garnet, earth, onyx, opal, granite, paper, plants, air is this weird thing.
The stone beneath Alexander's feet trembles
Yeah!
as more steps emerge from the granite cliffs.
I didn't die. Oh. Actually, that's a good point. What was the... I'd be curious to know what the, date on these were. January 29th, 2020. Oh, all right. So actually, that's not that long ago. About a year and a half ago. Huh. Felt like a long time ago, but then again, quarantine it went on for so long.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
All silent cry the noble boulders. Only those who have mastered the cliffs of logic can ascend.
The stone beneath Alexander's feet trembles as more steps emerge from the granite cliffs.
Again, I shouldn't be on these things trying to handle multiple things. I'm going to fall.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Oh, God. That's all I need is to come all this way and then I fall. Ugh. Oh, finally.
Alexander finds himself, finally, at the top of the cliffs. Exhausted, he steps over the lip of the plateau and stands.
Why do you make such an effort to climb the cliffs, young man? The winged ones who live on this island have the power of flight. You could have it too, if you'd only eat a berry from this magical flying nightshade bush.
Well, nightshade is deadly poisonous, so I shan't be doing that.
See? The sweet berries will make you float like a petal on the wind. Try some.
Thank you, but no. I won't be doing that. Actually, this is a good place as any to save it, because I need to go to bed for the night, because I teach a pretty full course load tomorrow. So, Twitch time. There we go. Not going to eat her poison berries, because I'm pretty sure that's the genie again. But, alright. Well, with that, I'm going to call it quits for the night. Thank you so much for watching. It was really fun to have everyone here. And I'll try and wrap this up, though there's still a lot of game yet to go, the next time I play. So, have a great night.